Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another Post-Gazette Steelers training camp report here from St. Vincent College in Latrobe. As always, Brian Batko joined by Ray Fittipaldo here, two of your Steelers beat writers from the PG. This report brought to you by Savinas, Kane, and Gallucci. Mesothelioma and asbestos lawyers, over 85 years of experience in the business. Give them a call for a free consultation. Today, Ray, it was an open practice for fans here at Chuck Noll Field, but basically a walkthrough. It was a walkthrough because they play tomorrow night, 7 o'clock against the Texans at Acrisure Stadium. This normally wouldn't even be open to the fans, but obviously they're losing one later this month with the joint practice against the Buffalo Bills. So people still got a chance to come out here, see Russell Wilson throw the ball around, see Justin Fields throw the ball around, maybe get an autograph from one of their favorite players. But there was no hitting, no pads, not much to see or write home about today.
No, not really. But when you have a walkthrough, Brian, that means you're closer to a game. And finally, Friday night against the Texans, we're going to actually get to see some of these new Steelers in action. You had the news yesterday, of course. Russell Wilson, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith. Several players will not play, but I'm looking forward to seeing Justin Fields. I'm looking forward to seeing that young offensive line, and of course, the receivers who are vying for those roster spots after George Pickens.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any takeaways from today, the only thing you can kind of see is they're going through those groups that are most likely going to be playing tomorrow night, although Russell Wilson was still out here, even though he won't. TJ Watt, Patrick Queen, a few others. With Isaac Seumalo sitting out tomorrow night, Mike Tomlin didn't want to say yesterday who was going to start at left guard. If you care about who the starting left guard is in the first preseason game, well, that's probably why you're watching this video. I think it's going to be Spencer Anderson,
Yeah.
but Mason McCormick will rotate in there. I still think they're going to, go through all of the tackles in various formations. Dan Moore at left tackle, Broderick Jones at right
Yeah.
to start, and then I don't know, after a series or two, Troy Fautanu will get his chance in there. Broderick Jones
Yeah.
shifting over to the left side.
Yeah, for what it was worth today in this walkthrough, Broderick Jones started out at right tackle. I asked him after practice, "Where do you think we'll be?" He says, "Honestly, I still don't know." So obviously, Tomlin and the offensive line coaches aren't sharing that information either, Brian. But you would think the theme this week in practice was Fautanu at right tackle, Broderick Jones splitting reps with Dan Moore at left tackle. It seems like they're getting him ready for an eventual move to left tackle. I don't know when that's going to be, but certainly with about 30 days to go before the Falcons game, the regular season opener, it could be in a couple weeks or so.
Two positional notes that I'll mention on the defensive side of the ball. These were trends we've been seeing throughout camp, but witnessing it today in the walkthrough kind of confirms what it's going to be. I'll start up front in the front seven. DeMarvin Leal, third-year guy who's kind of been a tweener for better or worse, usually for worse, at least at the end of last season because he was a healthy scratch. You're going to see him on the D line probably early, but then you might see him shuffle in and rotate to outside linebacker.
Yeah.
Talking to his position coach, was defensive line coach Carl Dunbar today. He said he's probably at 275, but he's more attentive in meetings. It seems like maybe the light's gone on for him. I'll be curious to see what he can do as a stand-up edge rusher.
Yeah, we have seen that the last week or so, Brian. And it's interesting with TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith not playing.
And Marcus
They're
Golden, I didn't see him out here today either, so
no,
they're really going to be down to kind of the down the liners at that
it's
spot.
almost out of necessity,
Yeah.
and I don't know if this would be an option during the regular season, but Mike Tomlin loves versatility in his guys. We saw DeMarvin do that a little bit during his rookie season, especially when TJ Watt had his pec injury. So, what Chuck Noll used to say, the more you can do, right? And DeMarvin Leal was trying to show that he does have a lot of versatility.
Yes, there was a veteran player a few years ago though who said the more you can do, the less you get paid. So you
That's
do want to establish a spot for yourself in this league as well. For Leal, maybe he'll establish a role in one of those sub packages, short yardage, goal line, something like that is where
yeah,
you could see him come in as a quote unquote linebacker instead of a defensive end. The other defensive note I was going to give was Cam Sutton, who we're going to see him in the preseason. He's got 3 games to play with the Steelers again right now. Once the regular season begins, he'll serve that 8-game suspension handed down by the league. But he's got a new position, Ray, at least full time from what we've seen. He's playing a lot of safety out here in Latrobe, not necessarily with the first team, but that seems like something they're tinkering with, and maybe that'll be a way to integrate him when he does return in the middle of the year.
yeah, why not take a look at all that stuff now, Brian? You have, like I said, another month before Cam Sutton's not here. He could be with the team all the way up until I think the day before that first game. So, he was versatile in his first stint with the Steelers before he left for the Lions. He played outside corner, he played slot, and he played safety. So I think they know what he can do at outside and inside corner and slot. put him back there at safety, see if you can come up with some creative packages later on in the season once he does return.
I think a lot of Lions fans, if any of them are watching this, would tell you he's got to move to safety full time. He can't do it anymore at outside corner. I guess we'll see. The Steelers shouldn't need him there if all goes well. But yeah, he's somebody who can wear a lot of hats for this defense too. All right, Ray, let's look ahead to the game tomorrow. Who's going to lead the Steelers in passing tomorrow night?
Well, with Justin Fields only playing a couple of series.
Yeah, but he might throw 2 99-yard touchdowns.
That's true. I'm going to go Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen, I think, should probably come in second quarter. You would see him, or excuse me, second half of the first quarter. I think he'll play through halftime, maybe even into the third quarter. So as long as he's doing okay and not throwing interceptions like he's maybe done a couple of times out here, I think he'll lead the team in passing.
I know people don't want to see journeyman Kyle Allen, but honestly, it's going to be a case of he's a vet. He's going to be able to get them in and out of the huddle, and that's going to help them evaluate the young players around him on the offensive line and the wide receivers and tight ends and running backs. Speaking of which, who's going to lead the team in rushing tomorrow night, Ray? By the way, I agree with you on Kyle Allen.
Well, first of all, Jalen Warren and Najee Harris have had great camps. I don't expect to see them much tomorrow.
Maybe a handoff or two for both.
One or two, yeah. I mean, was it his rookie season? Najee kind of got banged up, or maybe his second season. I don't think they want to do that again. Jonathan Ward is probably my favorite running back out here among all the guys after Harris and Warren. I think he's had a really good camp. But they got a number of guys. They got a kid out of Harvard who's having a good camp. Edwards out of Georgia is having a good camp. But I'll go with my guy, Jonathan Ward.
I'm going to say the Harvard guy, Aaron Champlin. I'll say he maybe even scores a touchdown tomorrow night. Undersized guy, but he runs hard. He could be one of those preseason darlings. All right, last one for you, Ray. Who's going to lead the team in receiving in the first preseason game?
That's a little bit more difficult because I think other than George Pickens, I think you'll see Van Jefferson get some run, Calvin Austin, all those guys. Here's a sleeper for you. I don't know if he's going to make the team, just in terms of his performance tomorrow and in the preseason
We're
games.
just previewing preseason action because Lord knows somebody out there watching this is going to be able to bet on this somewhere. Player props over, under, who knows?
So over 75 yards, Des Fitzpatrick.
This is not to be taken as official gambling advice from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. No, I think that's a good pick. I think Scotty Miller, because he might be a veteran who gets some work with starters, backups, even third stringers. I think those two are pretty good bets, but don't sleep on tight end Rodney Williams. They like to use him, stretch the field a little too. He was a receiver in college, moved to tight end in the NFL, played a little bit on the practice squad last year, and then eventually got called up to the team and got his work done on special teams. We'll see if he can stick around.
And one more thing, you mentioned Rodney Williams and his prowess on special teams. New kickoff tomorrow.
Yeah.
For the first time, you'll get to see the Steelers see him do it, and you'll see them return it as well. A little bit different in the Hall of Fame game. I wasn't all that impressed.
Yeah, I mean, they look like a lot of the returns before they changed the roles.
We'll see if Danny Smith has a little wrinkle or two. We'll see what happens.
Hey, maybe somebody will hit a seam, hit a gap, be gone. Maybe we'll see Matthew Wright kicking the ball sideways off the grass. I'd say the major threshold to clear there is just don't screw it up. So for Ray Fittipaldo, I'm Brian Batko. Thanks as always for finding our Steelers training camp report here from the Post-Gazette. Appreciate you watching on YouTube, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night from Acrisure Stadium.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.